Hi class, I apologize for having to go home because I'm not feeling well, but I decided to record a video on instructions of what to do. So today what you guys are going to be doing is making your own periodic table with 11 elements that you know and one is missing. And so you're going to kind of act like Mendeleev and try to figure out the things about the periodic table through trends. And so, for example, what do we know about the groups on our actual periodic table? Well, everything in that group has the same number of valence electrons, which makes it have similar chemical properties. And so you're going to be using that along with organizing your table with increasing atomic mass. So this is kind of that first part here. This is what we call modern periodic law. Really what this is just that properties are a function of atomic number. Meaning, if you change the atomic number, those properties are going to change, and they're going to have a relationship to it. So, again, the other big thing to note here is make sure that the elements in the same group have the same chemical properties. So what I mean, if we go to the actual list of elements here, they have chemical properties of oxide formulas and reacts with. So these would be our chemical properties. Everything else is physical. And so making sure that things in the same column react the same. So if this reacts with C to form an orange solution, you should find if something else reacts with C to form an orange solution, these are going to be placed into the same group then. So that's kind of the pattern that you guys are going to be using. So once you figure out where you think all of them go into the periodic table, there's going to be one of these missing, right? Because I give you 12, or sorry, I give you 11. You should have 12. So let's say the missing one goes here. Then you're going to fill in the missing zodiac sign, give it a symbol, and then you're going to number the periodic table 1 through 12, just as such, right? All right, so what you're going to want to do is check with your sub to make sure that you have everything in the correct spot before you continue on. Now, what you're going to do is, once you have that done, so far you've done 1, 2, and 3, right? Then you're going to start the analysis. So what you're going to fill out is this properties table. You're going to figure out what type of reactions it does, what type of formula of oxide it makes. And this, again, depends on what it's grouped with. So let's say your missing one falls with Gemini. You would say that it reacts with B and D. For A and C, you would write none. And then notice that its oxide formula is a 1-to-1 ratio with oxygen. 1 GM, 1 oxygen. So whatever you give the symbol for your missing one, make sure that the ratio of your element to oxygen matches those in its column. The atomic number will just come from labeling, 1 through 12. So again, if it was this missing one, its atomic number would be 3. And then these last three you get from graphing. So these you have to graph. Now, on here, I have you guys graphing 1 with by hand, 2 with Google Sheets. What I want you guys to do is whatever's most comfortable. So if you know how to use Google Sheets and want to make all 3 with it, awesome, just share it with me. If you want to make all 3 by hand, awesome, that's totally okay too. So I tell you on here, make sure that atomic number is X for all 3. And then what you're going to be doing is plotting something else on the y-axis every single time. So these are your 3 different graphs. So what you're going to get is some sort of graph, let's say, and it looks like this, and maybe we have a bunch of dots like this, and your missing number, let's just call this 6, doesn't have a data value, right? So you're estimating what it would be, and then you're recording that on whatever one you were just talking about. All right? So when you're done with that, you have your 3 graphs done, you have this table filled out, you have this either all handwritten or glued down. It's up to you. What I want, at least for every single one, is the name. So like, for example, Leo, and then let's see, its symbol was LE, and put atomic number 1. That's at least the minimum of what I want you guys to have on that table if you don't cut them out and glue them. Have that done, checked off. This is done. 3 graphs made. Then you have these questions. What I want you guys to do is then when you're answering these, similar to the modern periodic table, so that's comparing to like the one we have on the wall, then you have to compare between physical and chemical properties. So remember, chemical means a change in composition. So to witness it, you have a change in composition, meaning you change into something completely different, where physical is going to have no change. So for example, if I cut a piece of paper in half, I physically change it, but it's still paper, all right? So that is going with the details that I gave you here, all right? Then independent and dependent, if you don't remember that, you can always Google it. We already talked about what modern periodic law is. And you should be able to answer the rest of the questions without much help. But if you guys do need anything, please email me. Yeah, I will see you guys soon.